Hello, this is Amanda from Rise and Procrastinate doing another video for Fairy Stamper, and today we're going to be making 2 monochromatic Christmas cards. So let's get started. So I started off with a 12 by 12 sheet of pattern paper from my stash, and I laid out quite a few dies here in the areas that I wish to cut the pattern paper from, and I am just cutting this pattern paper smaller so it will fit through my die cutting machine with these dies on it. I will not be using all of these sections for my cards today. I just wanted to cut it up and get it over with, so I will have some extra pieces for later card making sessions. So I'm starting by using VersaFine Clair ink in Pinecone and stamping the decorating tree on the top panel and the wooden sled on the bottom panel. Now when I got done stamping this, I should have masked off the wooden sled, but I was being lazy, so we'll discuss how I fixed that a little later. I'm just giving these some good pressure. They are brand new stamps, but using a brand new inked up VersaFine pad, I got a good impression. Now I'm adding Jada to the bottom panel with the wood sled, and I added some of the ornaments that come with the decorating tree to the tree. Now I do have a little tip for you with those teeny tiny stamps. Use your pokey tool to move them around versus trying to use your finger, because the stamps, the photopolymer stamps, will stick to your finger. They don't stick quite as bad to a pokey tool. So now I'm adding Harmony to the top panel and just kind of making it look like she is adding one of those ornaments to the tree. So I put her hand really close to the bottom of that ornament. Just get that stamped on there, and then we're going to add our sentiments. And so I use the Holiday Sparkle sentiment for the top panel and the Fairy Christmas sentiment to the bottom panel. And this will finish up our stamping for the card panels. So I made that pretty simple. These are some really simple, quick Christmas cards that you can make if you have some kind of vintagey type scrapbook paper in your stash. So now I'm taking the Midas Touch Nuvo Aqua Shimmer Pen. It is just a gold glitter clear, well, it's got clear liquid and it's got gold glitter in the liquid. And I'm just adding that to certain parts of my panel. I'm not going to show you all of this, but I did add it to both the fairy wings, the star on the Christmas tree, and then I covered the word fairy on the one panel and the word sparkle on the other panel, just to kind of give it a little bit of interest. So as I finished that up, and then I decided, and I should have done this before I did the shimmer pen, but I decided I wanted to distress the edges. So I'm going to start with Vintage Photo and a very small blending brush and go around the edges. And the reason why I say this, I should have done it before the sparkle pen, because now I have some bits of gold glitter in my distress ink pads. Not a huge deal, but if that's going to bother you, do the distressing before you add the glitter pens. So I decided I wanted to darken up the edges a little bit, so I am going to go in with the ground espresso to darken that up just a little bit. And I will hold up the panels here and show you the difference between one that has just the vintage photo and one that has the vintage photo and the ground espresso when I get done with this one. Here we go. So the one on the left has the vintage photo and the one on the right has the ground espresso. So now they both have both vintage photo and ground espresso, and I'm just going to glue all these together, get my layers all glued, and then we'll be adding these to the card panels. And I did choose a white card base. I could have done craft, that might have been a little bit better, but I think that these stick out really nicely on a white card base and they give them some nice contrast. But if you prefer craft, do what you want to do. So I'm just going to get this last one glued on here, and then we will be adding these to the card base. So all of these products can be found, well, except for the scrapbook paper, can be found in the Fairy Hug store. Oh, and as a last minute touch here on one of the cards, I did find a little piece of plaid ribbon here that I thought matched really nicely in the brown tones that I was using. So I'm just going to add it to this empty corner here, just to kind of add a little something extra. I did add score tape to the back of my ribbon. That's how I prefer to add ribbon to cards instead of adding liquid glue. So I'm just going to adhere that to the back before I put these on the panels. So all of these supplies can be found in the Fairy Hugs or Fairy Stamper store, and that will be linked in my description box below, as well as a link to the Fairy Stamper Hugs Facebook group. There are challenges in that group where you can win prizes, and we have a lot of fun over there, so I encourage you to share your projects. You can share any fantasy themed projects. It doesn't have to be Fairy Hugs only, so keep that in mind. We do have a lot of fun over there. If you're watching this on the Fairy Hugs channel, my social media links will also be in the description box below, so I would love it if you came over on my YouTube channel and followed me. If you were watching this on my channel, the Fairy Hugs information will be in the description box below. And no matter what channel you were watching this on, we would appreciate you giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing if you haven't already. So this finishes up my card for today. And as always, have a great day. Bye.